If I have invested my 5 years in a startup, I know that what I have gained in that 5 years is much better a return on investment internally for me when compared to most people working in corporates, because they wouldn't have gone through the challenges that I've gone through on a day to day basis. They haven't handled challenges the way that I have handled. So I have learned a lot more, I would say, in the process. And so today, you put me into any kind of a situation, I know how to survive.
Welcome to podcast celebrating her victories by Andersen. And today we are having one of our special guests who have really made an impact in her career by nurturing a lot of startups and a lot of great concepts and ideas throughout her career. So let us welcome Jarna Gagalani with us today, who's going to share her journey and her experiences with all of us to enlighten our career, enlighten our path towards wisdom. So welcome, Jarna, to the show, and thank you very much for sparing your time today to talk to all our viewers.
Hey, Anurag, thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me here, and I'm looking forward to a great session.
Perfect. So, Jana, let's talk to our viewers out there. With your experiences. So, I know that over last 2 decades you are here in UAE. How this journey have been in the UAE is so incredible for you.
I would say it has been an amazing experience, especially from point of view of my career. I would say I came here in 2007 without any job. Within 15 days, I started working with a company in Jebel. Amazing company, helped me grow my career to a level where I joined as a finance manager, grew up to group finance manager, and was pretty much handling the entire FP&A and the entire function of the group, which was pretty good success just to at the beginning of my career.
But that's the important point that you mentioned. You came to UAE without a job offer in your hand.
Yeah, so I was working in good corporates back home in India. I started my career with Coca Cola. Thereafter, I worked with Sonata Software. And then uh, I was just, you know, considering, because I had an opportunity in Germany and I was considering, but at the same time, my ex husband, he got a job in UAE, and we were like, deliberating, what would be better for us, and we just thought maybe UAE is close to home, so that was the only idea, and we moved to UAE. I was pretty insecure at that moment because I was leaving a good job behind, but I was fortunate that I could get a job within like 15 days, and I started working as well.
So I think what I really learned from this entire conversation just now. What I learned is that when you have a real solid experience backing you, then any place is not a unknown territory for anybody out there. So you can really explore and use the experience that you have.
Absolutely. I think what matters is the confidence that you carry with yourself and your ability and willingness to learn. I think no matter where you are put, if you have willingness to learn and adapt, then I think you can survive and thrive.
And I think I can mostly agree with it. I can really agree a lot with it because at Anderson we had exactly the same journey. Uh, I remember when we started the firm out there, our core idea was to support a lot of people coming out of India, and I realized during very initial stage that there are a lot of women who come to UAE just because their partner got a job out here, and when they come to UAE, a lot of people do not trust them because they don't have UAE experience, forgetting the fact that they have built a strong, credible career back home in India. And I think I was lucky enough to learn that very early stage. And we've got so phenomenal, talented, women out there, and who really help us to grow and accelerate our path. So, so I think that's very valid point. Jana, another question that I have is, you have mentored a lot of startups, right? So I want to touch base on a startup journey. Like a lot of people believe that startups are a kind of juggling place. We need to juggle a lot, and juggle between funds that you need to raise, the product that being developed, and then maybe probably like there's a lot of people say that they don't have much of the controls. So the controls and financial regulations and things like that. How did you manage with those kind of things? And if you can share some perspective for people to understand how the startup ecosystem work.
Sure. Would love to do that. I would say that anyone firstly wants to challenge themselves and start up as a place. I really looked at a startup as a bounce back option for me because I had taken a career break of corporate career break of all close to 10 years. And I was not knowing whether I'm ready to bounce back and start my journey again where I had left it from. It's like very difficult to see your colleagues move way ahead and then you are restarting. But I think this is part and parcel of a women's life. And for me, this opportunity came in like I would say to prove myself that when you are hungry and you're willing to take challenges and you trust yourself and the company, these are key things I would say, because there are many startups who are there, but if you don't believe in the product, in the company, and what their desire is to do, if you don't believe that it really solves a problem that is close to you, then you would never be able to hustle the way you need to in a startup. So, you drive for me, that was really a big first step towards startup for me. Most people, when I speak, they are more comfortable to join established organizations, take a good, healthy pay pack, and kind of thrive on that position. Whereas for me, it was, I wanted to do something, and startups, they reward in a way where even your growth is kind of multiplied, right? So I took that challenge up. Nurturing, I think, is a women's instinct. So I think that naturally came to me because I literally nurtured the startup. I know every single day has gone by with new fires coming up, but it was never like job for me. It literally meant that this is something that I have to solve today so that tomorrow we can have a better day.
Yes, you actually own it. Actually, you
Yeah,
you you actually own it.
absolutely.
Unless the ownership comes out there, it's very hard to stick around for something for quite long times. I mean, you have been there quite long, so I'm
Yeah.
sure that journey have been there. But then during the journey, you joined them as financial controller, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
I literally joined as I would say a finance manager, like a very junior position to begin with, and I started literally by maintaining books of accounts because the company
Wow.
didn't have a structure. It was just a year old company, did not have audits in place, had done nothing. So yeah, I literally started doing basic things to that level that in 5.5 years I grew up to a board member, an advisor, a CFO, and dealing with the investors, and yeah, it was
So, so,
growth.
so essentially, I mean, you said that join as a very, very startup stage to a startup. How comfortable are you with that? Because many times when I meet a lot of millennials out there, the thought process is that they want to join established company, as you rightly said, that everybody want to join an established company, everybody grow their career in a structured manner, and everybody's goal is to become a leader in finance or leader in an organization as a CEO and board member. What's your message to the people out there? Look, how did this thing start? I mean, it's very hard or easy to say that. I'll say it's very easy to say that join a startup at early stage, but you get to see your peers rising in the career. What's your message to the people that how they can keep their nerves in control and in check, that they can continue to stick around the path of the acceleration for a long time?
I guess everyone wants to be a part of the outcome, but no one wants to go through the drill. Startup is all about being hands on, being ready to do whatever is required, have a transformational experience both internally and externally. You cannot just build a startup without growing internally. So I think that learning is a very crucial part. And secondly, when you are competing, first of all, you're competing with yourself. If I have invested my 5 years in a startup, I know that what I have gained in that 5 years is much better a return on investment internally for me when compared to most people working in corporates, because they wouldn't have gone through the challenges that I've gone through on a day-to-day basis. They haven't handled challenges the way that I have handled. So I have learned a lot more, I would say, in the process. And so today you put me into any kind of a situation, I know how to survive. But a person in a well established corporate, I would question if they would be able to survive in similar situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree because ultimately you need to ensure that you're getting the funds out of investors, you're satisfying the investors in terms of their demands on the information pack, maintaining the profitability. At the same time, you also need to support the founders, by giving them enough boost. And third thing is like external people, regulators. You need to have the pulse on the compliance as well. So maintaining all the three things together, I think it's a real difficult task. And another question to that particular flip, that being a woman, you have your child at home, and I'm sure, like, having both the places demanding. How did you manage that? The both the place demanding. So one place, like, you need to get up and get your kids ready to go to school, and then coming back from school, looking into the academic activities, looking the extracurricular activities and things. So, and at the same time, at workplace, you have so much demand, which means raising the funds, ensuring controls, stakeholders, promoters, and whatnot. How did you manage to keep check on that?
I would say again that I think this is very instinctive in nature for women. Whatever you put your hands to, you know how to nurture it. Of course, it's demanding being a single mother, managing the expectations of your child, alongside managing the expectations of your stakeholders. So it's always kind of choosing between stuff. You don't get everything, you have to choose. But my funda right from beginning at home has been that I put my time where it is crucial. So there are some touch points with my kid, that when he wakes up in the morning, that I have to meet him and I have to spend time with him. Evening when I reach home, that's the first thing that I do, spend time with him. Making him sleep is my crucial time. So these are the touch points as a mother that I learned from Indra Nui, that you should ensure that you are there on those time. And then if you are not there at other times, the kids really don't miss you, because they know that you are available when they need. Secondly, I am not a helicopter mother. I really know that for a child to grow up as a leader, and I strongly believe, because I have never seen my parents sitting with me and teaching me and investing that kind of time. They let me decide what's important for me. And I think that I'm just passing on the same to my kid, that I make him a leader right from childhood, that he needs to prioritize what he needs to do. And I only take only one thing very seriously, that is this parents teachers meeting. I'm always there for that. And I ensure that if there is any point that the teacher mentions there, then I take care of it. But other than, I let him grow on his own, which makes me more like a manager at home, also, I would say, in a way that I know where I'm needed, I'll be there. But at the same time, I empower my kid to become responsible for his
I
life.
think I think very important message for all the working women out there, that you need to come out of your comfort zone. You need to let your kids become their own managers in certain extent, and this process, I think, grows with the time. It doesn't happen on day one, but it happens in every single days, inches by inches, and they become a real independent at very early stage, and that really help them to understand this world. How does it work? Right?
Absolutely.
Because there's nobody to teach them better than you, and it's a progression that you need to take it at certain stage, and at certain stage of your
Yeah.
career and path.
Yeah, because I think academically the teachers are doing their job. What's important is to build their emotional strength, and that's where I think parents play a very major role. If as parents we make them dependent on us, then I think when they are left to the real world, it will be very difficult for them to survive. And I see many of my women colleagues that they spend so much of time guiding and being there with the kids, that I think they don't know how to operate on their own anymore.
Yeah, I
So
think I think that's very important message. I think in today's changing world, independence is very important, and I think the early you understand this independence concept, I think better you will be at. Obviously, like, you need to have monitoring aspect into this, which everybody does that. So Jarna, one more question that I have in that same stream, that you are a chartered accountant, you are a professionally qualified woman, um, and today's rapid changing era, which is like, there's a lot much happening around this space, which is like AI is coming, robotics is taking the shape, technology is changing the way we're living out there. We spend a lot of time on social medias and things like that. In this fast changing world, how do you see the professionals are growing, and taking a next career level in their progression? So how do you see that this role of technology is playing in the career?
I think technology is just tools in the hand of professionals. I would say that maybe 15, 20 years back, the amount of time we invested in doing repetitive tasks today, thank God to technology, we don't waste our time on that. We rather apply our knowledge and experience to add value. I think that's where professionals are required. We don't need to do repetitive tasks, right? No more anyone spends time doing reports, right? Systems generate them. You are reading and analyzing those reports, and I think that's the best boon, I would say, for professionals, because we are able to add value in real terms.
Okay, and another question on that front is that often we understand that CFOs and leaders, like finance leaders, what they actually work on. Do they actually do accounting? Do they care about accounting? Or I will say that they do a lot of management work. They themselves study a lot and solve the problem, or they find means and ways and tools to address the problems.
Learning is key, of course. Second thing is, accounting is basics, but you wouldn't do it anymore. You infer from it. So, of course, I think the maximum time a CFO invests is in leadership role. When I say leadership is taking decisions, you are taking 1,000 decisions a day, and that is not possible without kind of blending the knowledge, the experience, and the data. Without this, you cannot take those 1,000 decisions. So, I think that's the real role of a CFO when you're, leading a company.
I think that's very important message that you pass on, because many times people understand it just like knowledge. I mean, I had quite a few discussions with various leaders out there, and what I learned from them is that finance is one part. Your knowledge, whatever you learned so far, is another element. But understanding the industry,
Yeah.
understanding the responsibility and expectation of the stakeholders, is the key to be a successful leader.
Absolutely. I think the business that you're working on, knowing the nerves of that business, is a key thing. We are no more just accounting professionals, because our role as we grow has changed more towards navigating the company. If the CEO is, accelerating the company, or is having the steering in his hand, then your job is to navigate. And if at all you know that there is a major roadblock coming, then you should be the first one to sense that and provide that input. And I think that's very crucial, because many a times I've seen CEOs being very aggressive. Of course, they want to grow the company fast, but then we may miss out some important, crucial, points. So that's where I think CFO plays that leadership role, being a navigator and ensuring that the steering is turned in the right direction.
Perfect. And I see you quite a few events out there, a lot of events. I mean, I see you number of events that you're participating as either a panelist out there, you are speaker, you're vocal, and I see you often at various networking events. How do you see this networking and this peer connecting helping the professional way that you're growing out in your career?
So to begin with, when I was invited by many panelists, and it was more to share my knowledge. That was the idea. And while I started attending these events, I realized that I learned so much in the process, because I may be just exposed to 5% of the entire, whatever. Area it is, and there is so much that I can learn from them. So over a period of time, it became easier for me to learn from real life experiences than going through books and some videos to learn that. So that's how it improved. And I would say networking is the key, because with social media, I think that physical touch is missing in everything that we do, right? And you are almost working in your own silo world. And networking allows you to expose your own knowledge and skills, and at the same time, gain so much from other people. And maybe over a period of time, who knows, you meet right thought leaders, and you do something even more impactful for the community. And that's what I am looking at, to meet thought leaders and work alongside them, and maybe someday create something very impactful for the world.
Wow, that's amazing thought, Jarna. And Jarna, one last question I want to ask you for all our viewers. Being a women leader, being leading the startups, being a board member, a professional chartered accountant, what advice you want to give to millennials in terms of like who's looking up their career to rise up to the level that you are, over your journey. It took you like 2 decades where you reach today in your career. Is there a shorter way to reach this far? Or what is the advice you want to pass on to them?
I would say let's not define our success by the time that you spend. It is the growth that you have got. I think that is what I would say to all the millennials. Many people want shortcuts, but if you have not grown in the process, you cannot stay there. If you want to stay at the top, then build yourself fast. And I never started my career thinking that one day I will be there. And I don't even see I'm anywhere still. There is lots for me to do. So you just do your daily activity, what you are supposed to do with your utmost honesty, and the growth will automatically come. People who are capable and people who are not shy of working hard, they grow irrespective of where you put them in. You just need to do that on a daily basis, and eventually you will come up, like you will grow. That's what I would say.
I think that has a message that every single talent will come to the top on its own. There is no way somebody can stop a talent from coming up. So I think the message is very clear that we all need to stick to our path of journey, and the journey is an experience. There'll be ups, there'll be down, there'll be difficulties, there'll be cherished moment, but all these great moments will drive you towards your ambitions, your aspiration, if you stick around it, having a right patience, friends. So thank you, Jorna, for being here with me and sharing your experiences, your journey with all our viewers. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anurag. I really hope that at least one person would get inspired and do something different, and we would hear their success stories very soon. Thank
There'll
you.
be a lot much. Thank you so much.